Hey, what's up my fish tank guys and girls? It's been quite some time since I've given you an update on the Fluval EVO aquarium. So I'm going to take you through everything that's changed, all of the coral that are in the tank now, and talk to you about future plans for this aquarium. Okay, so overall, I'd say the tank is shaping up quite nicely. I've had it up and running now for a little over 6 months, and I would say that I've put a concentrated effort into the tank for probably the last 2 or 3. So overall, everything's looking pretty good. All of my nuisance algae has kind of, gone away. My cleaner crew has really been helpful in terms of keeping that at bay. So I don't have any green hair algae. I don't really have any diatoms anymore. One thing you guys may notice is that I do have some brown algae on the rock. It's not stringy. It's not like brown hair algae either. I'm not quite sure what it is. I've heard that it could be a type of brown coralline algae, but it does, kind of flake off if I do scrape at it with maybe like my fingernail or something like that, but it won't just blow off with a turkey baster. So I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I'm not too worried about it right now. It's not causing any problems. So up first, I have this weird coral here in the back of the aquarium. It's an encrusting type of coral. It's kind of a light pinkish in color. I actually am not really thrilled with this. I'm not seeing much growth from the coral, and it doesn't really add a whole lot to the aesthetic of the aquarium. So my future plans for this back rock here are to remove this coral and either replace it with a Duncan coral, or I may replace it with a torch coral. I've always wanted to have a torch. I've never had one in any of my aquariums, and I think this would be a really cool spot to highlight it in the tank because it would get a lot of nice movement and would add that extra pop to the aquarium. So this guy is going to be replaced in the future. I'm not sure by exactly what. Towards the top here, you can see I have this neon orange Montipora. It's still looking fine. I'm not having any problems with it, although you'll notice that I do have 2 small Aptasia heads peeking out of the underside of that Montipora there. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about those. I don't like to get the shrimp pester corals. Maybe I'll try the lemon juice method. I'm not a big fan of the boiling water method, so I'm going to try to do something to get those out of there. I might actually just pull the Montipora and maybe dip it to remove the Aptasia from it. Up next, you'll see here is another coral. I'm actually not sure what it is. It's green on the inside. It's kind of got purple and yellow on the outside. You can't really see the yellow until I have the blue lights on, but it's an interesting coral. It hasn't grown a whole lot. Again, doesn't really add a lot to the aquarium, so I'm thinking about removing it and putting it somewhere else, but for now, I'm just going to keep it there. Now, moving along the tank here, you'll see 2 smaller heads of frog spawn. These actually came from my BioCube. I don't plan on keeping both of them in the tank long term, but they have already significantly grown from when I first put them in, so they're doing pretty well. But I like having them right now for a little bit of movement in the aquarium because I don't have a lot of coral that kind of move with the water movement and the flow. So that's kind of why I have them in there for now. In general, I really like frog spawn, and I think it's a cool coral to add to a tank. But because I have frog spawn in my other tank, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep both of these pieces of frog spawn in this tank long term. But for now, they're there to add a little color and a little movement. Up next, you'll see I have my fathead dendro. The interesting thing about this coral is that it used to be open during the day and now it's open at night. I've been feeding it regularly during the day, especially when I feed reefroids. I do reefroids to this aquarium 2 times a week. Those reefroids are producing a lot of growth, which I'm really happy about, but this guy still only opens at night. But I know he's healthy because at night he's out full tentacle extension, puffed up, looks really great. I just wish he could open more during the day so I could have a better glimpse of him, but at least he's healthy for now, and that's all that really matters. Up next, you'll see here I have 2 small frags of Zoanthids. These are very interesting. They have a green center and a bright green, I would call them like bright green polyp extensions. So sort of like the petals almost of the zoanthid are bright green, especially under blue light. I have 2 frags in here. I'm only going to keep one long term, but the one frag you'll see has 7 heads on it, and when I put it in the aquarium a few weeks ago, it only had 5. So reefroids are doing they're doing really well. Some of these coral are growing very fast, and these zoanthids are one example of that. Up next here, you'll see I have another small colony of zoanthids. So, looking forward to the future of this tank, I don't want to go too crazy with complicated corals, but I also don't want to wait forever for growth. Zoanthids tend to be a faster grower. They are typically encrusting, so they will cover an entire rock. So my goal is to have these zoanthids placed strategically throughout the tank to fill in all of the empty space. So moving over here, you'll see I have 2 colonies of acan. I have an acan frag sitting on top of this rock. These are a really cool pink and blue color, something very unique to my aquarium that I haven't had in any other type of tank. I actually have had these acans for quite some time, but I had them in another aquarium that I basically neglected. So I'm trying to bring them back. And as you can see, they are starting to come back. I have quite a few heads on here. They look pretty nice. The reefroids are definitely helping, but my goal, at least short term, is to have the acans covering that frag plug. Well, it's kind of a frag plate, I guess, but my goal is to have them completely covering that frag plate and then potentially move them somewhere else in the tank. But under blue lights, those acans look amazing. And the second colony of acans I have is just, a small 2-head frag that I got, but you'll already see some new heads forming on the sides of those acans, which is really cool. Again, another testament to reefroids. Another reason why I want to do an update on this tank right now is so I can kind of document the growth of these corals over the next few weeks. So up next, you'll see here I have another colony of zoanthids. These are very interesting. Again, under white light, they don't look very impressive, but under the blue lights, at nighttime, they look really awesome. They definitely add a pop to the aquarium. And again, kind of like the orange zoanthids that I talked about earlier, my goal is to have these zoanthids completely cover this rock, or at least cover 1/2 of it. Last but not least, in the back, I have my pulsing Xenia. Now, the pulsing Xenia is doing okay. It was getting a little finicky being in the front of the tank with a lot of flow, so I moved it to the back of the tank. And I actually at one point realized that I had a vermitid snail growing on the bottom of the pulsing Xenia that I think was causing it to be distressed. So I removed it from this tank for a period of a week or 2, moved it into another tank until it was opening fully again. And then I moved it back here, and it's doing okay. It's not really pulsing a whole lot, and it's not completely open, but over the last week or 2, it started to open up a little bit more. That being said, pulsing Xenia can become a nuisance coral. I've also heard that people have issues with it being really finicky, and that one day it'll be big and beautiful, and the next day it'll start to melt away. So, to be honest with you guys, I'm not planning on keeping the pulsing Xenia in this tank long term. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to put a Duncan frag in here or a torch frag. Honestly, I'm aiming to do both. I'm aiming to put the Duncan coral in here and also a torch, and I'll probably put one where the pulsing Xenia is and another where that first coral is that I showed you guys. So let's talk about the fish. How are the fish doing? My diamond goby is doing really good. I haven't had him try to jump out of the tank recently, as far as I know, but at the same time, I have also completely covered the top of this tank because he is a jumper. So he's doing good. He keeps my sand looking very, very nice, but at the same time, he also keeps my water sometimes looking a little bit cloudy as he sifts the sand, through his gills. But he's a really awesome fish. He's really entertaining, has a really great personality. I really love that fish. I'm happy that I finally have been able to keep one for more than like a week or 2. Now, let's talk about this guy. This black and white damsel here, he is, I'm going to go with he's kind of a bully. Damsels are known to be aggressive or semi-aggressive at the very least, and this guy is no exception. I've caught him a few times pestering my diamond goby for no apparent reason, just sort of like trying to run into him, trying to spook him. They kind of go at each other a little bit. And I'm not happy about that, because honestly, this is not a parent-child relationship here. My favorite fish in the tank is a diamond goby. So if the black and white damsel is going to become a bully, then he needs to go. He got to get going out of here. So I'm actually thinking about replacing him with a royal grandma, which is the fish that is like basically 1/2 yellow, 1/2 purple. I think it'll really add a nice pop. And as far as I've read, I've never had one before. They tend to be a little less aggressive than a damselfish it would be, such as this one. So that is kind of something that I'm looking forward to doing in the future too, is getting the black and white damsel out of here. Maybe I'll put him in another aquarium, and then getting that royal grandma in the tank in his place. So once again, I'm the Fish Tank Guy. Thank you so much for checking out my channel and checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of the tank, and over the next few weeks we'll see some more progress. Stick with me on this journey, watch this tank mature, and watch the corals grow and all that good stuff. I have a lot of fun plans for the tank in the future, just continuing to add more and trying to be creative with it, while also keeping my maintenance down and keeping the tank looking clean and healthy. Just an FYI for you guys, I'm going to have some merch coming out soon, which is awesome. I'm going to have some mugs and shirts and all kinds of stuff for you guys that won't just be necessarily like the Fish Tank Guy. So it's going to be, I'm going to have some merch for my viewers, obviously, that I think you guys will like, but also they make good gifts for people who are just into the saltwater aquarium hobby, and they want to kind of show off that, like, hey, I'm into fish tanks. I think people would want to show, I don't know if anybody would want to show that off or not, but hey, if you want to take, let me rephrase that. If you want to take some pride in your hobby there, or you have a friend or someone in your family who, they're really proud about their fish tanks and they want to show off their pride in their hobby, I got some merch for them. So stay tuned to the channel for the next few weeks. Hopefully I'm going to keep posting one video a week. Thank you guys so much for the support. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the tank and kind of what some of my plans are with the tank, and hey, we'll go from there. So once again, I'm the Fish Tank Guy, and until a future Fish Tank Guy video, I will see you guys soon.